Braveheart Workshops, inspiring connection. Restore, renew, and reconnect in community. Live well, laugh often, love much. Join our online connection circles. Be empowered in our virtual live events. Be a guest on our podcast shows. Hire us or be hired for speaking engagements. Enhance hope, health, and healing in your lives. Creating global connections. The Connection Show, sponsored by Braveheart Workshops, live with Jill Reynolds. The Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing in 2021. Sponsored by Braveheart Workshops, live with Jill Reynolds. And joining me today from Virginia is Shirley Luu. Welcome to the show, Shirley.
Hi, Jill. I'm so excited to be on the show.
Well, we're just overjoyed that you're joining us. And I am so excited, everyone. Shirley has decided to come to Branson, Missouri, and be a part of the Hope, Health, and Healing Conference. And I'm going to read her bio to you so you know a little bit about her, and you'll be so excited to get to meet her. So, Shirley Luu is an award-winning financial advisor, hands-on trainer, author, a national speaker on financial literacy, and a renowned wealth guru. Her 25 years of expertise in the financial services field sets her apart as one of the industry's most notable concierge, I say that correctly, an executive field chairman for First Financial Security. Shirley informs, educates, and empowers individuals and small and large business owners on lifetime income and retirement. Shirley Luu and Associates, LLC, and her team of licensed professionals serve her clients' specific financial security needs. Her personal journey as a widowed mother of three has allowed her to recognize the unique challenges that exist for women front and center. She actively empowers women across the globe to know their money through various educational and enrichment programs, including the LISA initiative. Shirley appears on various TV programs such as the local news networks Channel 5, Fox, WTTG, Channel 9, and many others. Shirley is in a TV pilot right now scheduled for the summer of 2021, along with her launching her new book, which we'll talk about in a moment. Amid Shirley's profusion of recognition, many of her awards and achievements highlight her support for countless non-for-profit and philanthropic causes. She's got so many awards and recognitions, I can't even begin to list them, but you will see them listed on the YouTube channel, some of them, because there's about 3 pages of them. So she's done all of this by the age of 10. So let her speak now and tell you how she got it all done. No, I'm teasing. Oh, Shirley, you're amazing.
Well, thank you so much. No, thank you for the compliments. Believe me or not, I'm heading toward the 60 mark very soon. So, I appreciate that. Yes, I'm really excited, first of all, to be with the Hope and Healing show, because I think it's incredible. Having this conversation with you and understanding, of all the things that, how financial literally affects our lives, And to be honest with you, Jill, my story was not getting into financial because I just decided to get into it. My story really happens when my husband unexpected passed away in a tragic death. And when that happens, he left me with a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and a 1-year-old. We had to move out of the house immediately. And as you know, in life, it's sometimes difficult to feed one mouth, let alone 4 mouths, And the night of his death, we had to move out of the house. The next day, I found out that his life insurance had lapsed. So, it was a very, very difficult thing, trying to find a place to live, single mother, going through that struggle.
And
Because,
at that time when that happened, let me just ask a question. Were
Mhm.
you a stay-at-home mom, or were you also employed, Shirley, with a job at that time of your life?
So what happened was that my husband and I had a business in Great Falls, and he handled the finances, running the business, finance, and things like that. I was supporting, and because he handled the finance, I got under control. Got under control. Well, it was a brand new business that we started up, so all my savings and everything that we had went into that new business. So from a financial standpoint, we were strapped on that sense as well. When it came time to pay the bills, because we were so behind and everything else, he decided, well, let's go ahead and let the life insurance policy go. If we get this business up and running, that's what I could leave the family. Little did I know that was happening, you know. And so instantly overnight, I tell you, in life, one minute you could be on top of the world, and the next minute you and I could be homeless like everybody else.
Hmm.
That taught me a hard lesson learned, that as a woman out there, and even men, always have that conversation. Hey, honey, everything is? Do you have this? Do you have, what if I die tomorrow? What if I get hurt? What if I get sick? What if?
Well, and I love that you're saying that, because I'm about ready that I'm going to sit down. I think it's imperative, especially, with if you're married and your spouse, either one, so it could be sometimes the woman or it could be the
Yeah.
man. If
Yep.
your spouse handles the money, to sit down with them about every quarter, and we put everything. My husband like lives with Quicken. He puts every little thing that we ever do on Quicken. And so about every
Yep.
quarter to sit down and say, pull up the Quicken, show me where do we owe here, where do we here, where are we here, how do I pay and the other thing is, how do I pay this? Because to be honest with you, I'm 67 and I've been married since for 21 years. The minute I got married, Shirley, the minute I got married, I handed my checkbook over to my husband and said, I'm done with being the head of the household, because I was a single mom for 17 years. So I
Yeah.
just said, you do the finances. And so I handed everything over to him. So as women, if we do this, it's imperative then to sit down with your spouse and say, would you fill me in case something happens to you? Because if something happens, I don't even know where to start.
That's the key point. You said the magic word. Yes, the man can handle it or the woman can handle it. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is that communication was never happening.
Hmm.
We're busy right now doing everything else, and yet one of the most crucial things when it comes to life and all that, retirement, no one talks about it. Okay, did they ever have a conversation? Hey, honey, when you retire at 65, what income is coming in, and how much do we need of it coming in, and where are we getting that coming from? So I came from getting the finances because I felt it was a platform that needed to be communicated. Last night, Jill, I was on a platform on Facebook with 2,000 plus people viewing me last night, you know, and all these, you should see hundreds of messages coming across on Facebook, like, oh my God, oh my gosh, you're right, this is something that's needed and all that. And so I think, getting financial education literacy out there is such an important piece.
Hmm. Well, and I just personally, Shirley, happen to be a Christian, and and so I've listened to like Dave Ramsey talk about financial wellness, and the one thing that I really believe is imperative that everybody hears, and I want you to take off on this because you're an expert much more than me, but this is just a simple thing I learned is when your paycheck comes in, before you do anything, and this is my Christian beliefs, before you do anything, don't write a check. Take the amount that you have and take 10% and write a check to your church if you go to church immediately. Then take the next check and take 10% of the remainder and put it in savings. The next 80% should go to pay your bills. And if you follow those principles, God will bless you financially. You'll start to build your nest egg at that 10% savings. And the 80% then is what you learn to live on, and you learn to live within your means. So that's one principle. And the other one that I learned, and again, I want to pause so you can take off on this, is I learned then to establish good credit, if you can manage money, is I learned to put every single thing, everything, every little thing on one credit card and pay it off every single month. Don't have a balance. Don't ever have a balance, but pay it in full. So that way you're living in your means, because you're seeing your credit card statement and you know that your mortgage is paid, your electricity, your cell phone, your food. And then I know where all my money went instead of cash, because with cash you forget where you spent it. And then at the end of the month you pay it off. And by the end of the year, my husband and I always have about $7,000 of free money because of all the points we earned. And then our credit rating goes, I mean, we're at like a 830 credit rating. So take off on that, because you are a mastermind when it comes to this.
Well, it's interesting that you said those principle. Okay, so let's talk about the principle that you talk about a little bit. Okay, you're absolutely great, right? I totally agree with you about putting 10%, towards the church and 10% towards savings, right? Now let's talk about towards the 10% savings. I know you mentioned about Dave Ramsey and all that. I'm glad people heard about Dave Ramsey. They heard of Susie Orman and all that folks out there, right? During the time that you've learned all these things from them, it was the appropriate time at that time. You understand? Okay. So the teaching, what they were teaching, yes, it was appropriate at that time. Nowadays, their new product has emerged. So those old practical product that people have been having it's considered very old traditional stuff. There are new stuff that now has emerged. Things like, okay, the 10% savings. Well, first of all, you got to make sure where you're having it can have some kind of growth, right? If you put in saving checking, saving checking not even earning, it's only like 0.15. It's ridiculous, okay? So there, you're not getting your money working for you. And then on the other hand, if you take all that money from the stock market, you're in danger, because why? The market's been fluctuating so much. There's so much crazy stuff going on. So imagine, what if we taught people the new kind called index stuff? And that's something that is amazing that I've learned. And so I'm taking the old traditional stuff, helping clients moving to the new stuff. Okay, that's first thing. So that, yes, the percent of savings is important to know where you're putting in money and making sure your money work for you. I mean, Joe, imagine if I give you an account, make as much as the money as the market makes, but with no losses ever. If the market goes down, you never loses. Now, how many people have heard of that? And then on top of it, what if I throw a guaranteed stream of income on top of it? You hear what I said? Guaranteed stream of income. How many heard of that, right? So that's on that piece. Let's second talk about the credit card. It's funny, when I got into financial and I'm just sitting here studying on the credit, and you see people saying, oh, credit repair, all this, that, right? And then I start really understanding, okay, what makes the market fluctuate with the credit? So I did it on me, Joe. So what I did was, it's important if you had the credit card company, what they do is, when you have, let's say, one credit card, okay, let's say one. If you load that credit card up, like you said, put everything on one bills and you pay it off, great, right? I also found out that credit cards score based on the balances that you have. So they try to keep, if you have balance under 1/3, your credits. But when you start hitting your credit card balance at 50%, it start to hit your credit score, because they say your debt to income ratio is too much. Your debt to or not. So I always suggest have at least a couple credit cards, you know what I mean? That you pay it off, just like you said, but you always keep the balance below 1/3%. And one time I did, I maxed up my credit card just to see, right? Oh my God, my score went down like 30 points. The next month, guess what I did? I took a checkbook and I paid every single one of them off, and immediately it shot up like 20-30%. But you see how you can instantly manipulate the number, and all that. And of course, one of the biggest things I think it's really unfair with the credit card credit report. This is one thing I think that's so wrong. I'll give you an example. My son-in-law, he got dinged on his credit, right? I am talking about the kids make money impeccable. But my daughter had a higher score, and I said, what happened on yours? It was like lower, like 30, 40 points. Do you know what happened? He had a bill that he helped his father with, okay, that he was a co-sign. The bill was $75, Joe. It wasn't like a lot. He was on some kind of, his father passed away. when his father passed away, you know how the dad gets all the bill and everything else, and the son lives totally separate places, didn't know anything about the one bill. But because he was like, I guess a co-signer, it was $75, Joe. He got hit, reported to agency that he didn't pay the bill. He didn't know anything about it until he went to buy a house.
And then it ruins his credit rating. Yeah, and the other thing, that I wanted to bring up, Shirley Lou, because you brought your children up. So this is something that, and again, I am not a wise and really wise person with finances, but somehow I figured this out myself. And nobody
Mm-hmm.
told me this, but I want to share this with the audience and take off on this that I thought was really smart. So, when my son went off to college, he's now 38. When he went off to college, I had told him, I told my son, I never had a chance to go to college, so I want you to go to school, and I want to pay for everything as a gift to you. I want to do that. And so I had to take out, most times when children go off to college, they take out loans in their name. Well, I was really smart back then. I took out a parent loan in my name. Best decision I ever made, because the parent loan stated that should I die before it was paid off, it would be null and void. Number two, if I became disabled before it was paid off, it would be null and void.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so grateful I did it that way. So that's number one. Number two, my son was going off to school out of state, and I still wanted to have a little control over his life. So I gave him his first credit card. And I told him, I says, use this credit card for everything you want to do. When you need gasoline, I'll put your cell phone on it. I'll put your utilities, whatever, put it on one credit card. Well, I liked it because I always knew what he was doing, where he was buying groceries. I said, the only thing you cannot put on this credit card is if you want to go out partying at the bars. You're going to pay that out of your own paycheck, because you're going to still have to work and pay for your partying. But all of the other stuff I put on a credit card and paid it off every month. By the time he graduated college, his credit rating was 825. 825 when he got out of college. And then what I made him do was within 90 days, I made him get a job. And the first month, he got to put his paycheck in the bank. The second month, he had to pay all of his own bills. And by the third month, we sat down and put a full budget together, so he knew how to never get in debt. And to this day, he's never been in debt, and he pays his credit card off, and he lives his life this way. So it was a simple principle to teach him. Could you take off on that?
Oh, absolutely. I think teaching kids at the very basic fundamental, because my kids, after they learned, the situation going through life, experience with their dad and all that, I'm so proud of my daughter. She's 34 years old, Jill. And do you know she just bought her first home 6 months ago, a $1.5 million home, and is able to put 20% down and still got plenty of money left?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, how many 30-something years old that that are in that position?
Yeah.
You know? And it's all because of teaching them, understanding, hey, and I could remember whenever I said, oh, she said, oh, Mom, I just got a bonus check. And I go, you know what that's going like? She said, I already said, and you know what? And to this day, it's been incredible. And I totally agree with you with everything, and it's disheartening, when I see now, speaking of college loan, I'm working, on a TV show, pilot show. It's called Overcomer. And a lot of these women, oh my God, I looked at, they're unemployed and they have $126,000 in student loan. They'll never get themselves out of that. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, the housing where they live in that probably just costs 126,000. So technically, what they pay, in that, and the sad part is with this COVID things happening, they're not even on site, going to class, and still has to pay for these program that's outrageous. And that's the other thing too. It gets to me a lot, where they freely throw out these student loans kind of things, and then doing the COVID things, and they have no leniency for these students and these people. Okay, you're going to stay at home, but you're still going to pay the room and board and everything else, and not any, I see all that's happening. And so I'm trying to get people and teach people how to get ahead of the curve, how to fix what they have, and all that. And so, hey, I appreciate you, by the way, to bringing this to the audience because I think it's such a crucial and important stuff, to
Yeah.
reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just so grateful, and usually we would talk longer on an interview with our guests, but we're gonna keep it minimal today, only for one reason. Only for one reason is I want you guys to sign up today. Do not wait. Don't procrastinate. $84 for a 3-day event to come and meet this amazing woman in person. You can get to talk to her. Show your book if you wouldn't mind, Shirley. Shirley's got this book coming out this week.
Okay. It's actually tomorrow, Friday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. If they order the book between 12 and 1, I don't know when you're going to air this thing, but it's a special deal, $9.95. And the book says IUL ASAP, How to Win the Financial Game of Life, Invest Like the Wealthy, and Generate Tax-Free Income with one 3-letter word. So already,
and what does IUL stand for?
Index Universal Life. And it's really interesting. Couple things in this book. I'll give you 2 hit. Okay, when you think of the master of investment, retirement, it's Warren Buffett, right? So Warren Buffett and by the way, he's quoted in this book and this study. He went to every money manager out there, and he said, "I'll make a bet with you that the index fund under S&P 500 will outperform in 10 years against any of your money manager out there, and I'll bet you $1 million." So these mutual fund managers say, "Oh, I'll bet against you." Well, one of them went again head to head with him, $1 million betting. Okay. After 7 years, the CEO of that fund manager said, "You know what? I conceded." Only 7 years, he knew he could not beat it. So that is in my awesome book. That another one.
Wow, that's awesome. And so let's go online and let's get this book. Let's go online and register for this event. And you'll be able to talk to Shirley, not just hear her speak. You'll be able to actually meet her, talk to her, connect with her. Right now, I'm going to show you her bio so that you'll see how to reach out to her. It's got her website here and just how to reach out to her. Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Anyone who registers for your event, guess what I'm going to do?
What?
If they register your event and they come up and talk to me and speak with me personally, I will autograph a book for them. This book is expensive. It's about $20-$30, okay? But if they come to your event and they register, come talk to me, meet with me personally, I'm going to give them a free book for your event.
You're going to give them a free book at the event.
Yep.
An autograph. Okay, yep. So I'm going to say today is May 27th. You must register I'm going to give them a little bit of time. I'm going to give you till June. I'm going to write this down till June 10th to register. Yes. June 10th. So if you register by June 10th, on the registration form, I want you to say that you heard about the conference with Shirley Luu. Mention her name because there's a drop down and say Shirley Luu told me about it. And there's a spot that says questions or comments. Say Shirley Luu's free book. And I'll tell Shirley when you get there to come to the table and that you were qualified for the free book. I'll let Shirley know.
And I personally want to meet them so that I can give them, the free book.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's so generous of you. So everyone, go to Braveheart Workshops. Workshops has an S on the end. BraveheartWorkshops.com and register by June 10th for the Hope, Health, and Healing Conference in Branson, Missouri, August 20th to the 22nd. I am so excited. I can't wait to meet you.
And I can't wait to meet you as well. And I can't wait, hey guys, Hope, Health, and Healing is a place you don't want to miss. So show up, because the things that you're going to hear there, you are going to flip.
Yes, thank you so much, Shirley. And everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye now. Thanks for joining us on the Connection Show. Let's connect now. Let's restore, renew, and reconnect in community. Enhance connection in our online connection circles. A place to meet up, gather, and feel welcomed. To join us, go to braveheartworkshops.com. Click on the Books Podcast tab, and then the Connection Circles drop down. On the pop-up, join our Connection Circles Facebook group. Our circles meet from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Share story, topics, and laughter with men and women. To learn more about Connection Circles, go to braveheartworkshops.com. Thanks for joining us on the Connection Show, and have a great day.